Morning, everybody. Post leg day, hack squat, got it in, and I'm taking the leg press out because I'm wanting to transition more to squats now. I was really contemplating just keeping it in, um, but I actually really love squats. So doing the leg presses I have been for probably the last 10 or more, 15, whatever it is weeks. It's been a while now. It's time to go back to my passion, which is squatting. And I was gonna do a weigh in this morning for y'all, but I actually woke up about 10, 15 minutes late, and I was rushing to get ready, get on back on track on time, and I did get back on track on time, but that meant that I didn't think about it until I was on the way to the gym. I didn't do my weigh in, so I owe you guys that tomorrow. We'll get that out. We'll see what I'm looking like. I have a really suspicious feeling I'm probably staying about the same, and I think for me to get any leaner, I think I'm at a sticking point right now. I'm gonna either have to significantly drop the calories, or I'm gonna have to increase my cardio. So I have to increase my output or decrease my input. And I've been kind of slacking on the cardio. Be upfront with y'all. This is how you get better. You gotta be brutally honest. So I think I got maybe one session in this week. It's been a very busy week for me, and so I need to start doing cardio 2-3 times a week, every other day ish kind of thing, in order for me to come down anymore and get any leaner while maintaining the muscle mass I have. So I owe you guys that. We're gonna get it. We're gonna get it in. Weigh in tomorrow morning. Cardio is gonna start either today or tomorrow. Probably tomorrow. Today I did legs, so I'm gonna take tomorrow's my day off anyway. So I'll take the day off from the gym, but then I can hit cardio. So that's what we'll do. And yeah, so we're still gonna keep going. I'm almost at 50 subscribers, and that to me is just awesome. I really appreciate that. Um, you know, just the amount of support I'm getting from people at my in my channel, coming to my channel, and the comments y'all are leaving. It's really been awesome. So thank you, and we're gonna keep getting after it. Plenty more to come. And I'll kind of nail this real quick because I think this is something I was just thinking about when I mentioned at the beginning was squats and how I love squats. So let's analyze the way you can get a little bit of quad growth, a little bit of leg growth, right? So as long as you're pushing yourself with effort, consistency, and getting to failure or close to failure, you know what I mean? Like you're really hammering your legs, they're gonna grow. But I will say that I think everybody does grow a little bit, their legs a little bit differently, right? So like you got guys that are just insanely strong, like let's say Quinn Scott, he's another YouTuber, huge YouTuber. Dude's insanely strong. You got Kev, same thing, insanely strong. Those guys got huge legs, but it's because they lift like a crap ton of weight, right? And they do it all the time. I mean, you see them; they're dropping videos every day. They're lifting pretty heavy consistently. Um, then you get guys like, and I know this is gonna be kind of funny to say, but so like for Tom Platts, his legs for being as big as they were, if you listen to what he says in his videos, he talks about the weight for muscle size, solely muscle size. Getting big legs, not strong legs, big legs. He says, don't worry about the weight. The weight will come. It's about the reps. The reps are more important than the weight. So what is he saying? So he's not saying that you don't need to lift heavy. He never said lift light. He never once said go easy. None of that. What he's saying is you need to get to the point where you can lift heavy for a lot of reps. So you look at someone like um, crap it, Halfthor Bjornsson, right? If I said his name right. I mean, or you look at strongmen, powerlifters, they're hitting very low reps, but or singles, doubles, triples, and their weight is insane, right? And they're strong as oxes, just like I was saying with the guys before. But what Tom Platz is saying is, so instead of hitting something like 405, 500 for somewhere in there, 600, 700 pounds for like, somewhere between a single to all the way to a triple, he's saying, how about you put a good like 3 plates on and try to hit like 15 and above reps. So what's the difference? What's the difference between me hitting failure with a single or a double for 500 pounds versus, going down to a lower weight where I can get 15 and above? For me, the way I see it, it's about the muscle tear, right? So, and time under tension. So let's just say your squat's the exact same, so the form is the exact same every time, regardless of the weight. Boom, boom, boom. The only thing you're changing is the rep range and weight. You're still going to hit failure or close to failure with a squat. You don't want to hit complete failure on a squat without, it'd be rough on that weight. As close as you can without form falling apart to failure. Effort, intensity, right? It's still there. Form's the same. But if every single rep takes you, let's just make a number of 10 to 30 seconds or whatever, depending on how slow you're going, whatever it is, just keep a number in your head and then stick with that. If you hit a single or a double, you're probably in it for less than, a minute, or maybe, a minute and a half. But if you take, half that weight and you just up the reps insanely, but you're not going super fast and you're kind of controlling it down, controlling it up, controlling it down, controlling it up, the amount of time that your legs have that load, like upon upon the muscle, is a lot longer. And when you're going down, you're creating a ton of tension, because also, I'll say this, when you're squatting with a heavier weight, people tend to want to hit 90 and then they stop and they come up, right? Like a powerlifting style squat. Parallel, stop, up. Well, I mean, I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with that. A squat it's still a squat. But for the purpose of building muscle mass, can we improve it? I think so. So I can, especially if you're wanting to focus on quads and not want to have your hamstring and glutes come in, you can bring your feet in more, point your toes out, really let the knee carry forward, and don't hinge from your hips, right? So when you're coming down, don't do this, right? You're not wanting, so like, let me see here. So if this is you, and then when you squat, and where my two fingers meet, this is your hips. You don't want to hinge, and then you're going to be like pretty much pressing, right? It creates a ton of tension on your hamstring and glutes because they're the ones that's coming down, and then they're going to come up. What you want to do is when you come down, your back, so like we'll do it this way. So when you come down, your legs will carry forward, and then this is your back. It's going to stay pretty much vertical, right? So you're going to let the knee create the tension straight from the start. So as soon as I unlock, there is no way for my a good way for my hamstrings or my glutes to kind of come in, because all the tension is straight on the quads immediately. And you do that by doing like a Olympic style, weightlifter style. Not when I say weightlifter, I mean like competition, like a weightlifter or Olympic lifter style squat, where your back is more vertical. It takes all the quad and glutes out of it, lower back out of it for the most part. I mean, you're still going to use some of it, but it's going to be a majority of your quad. So if you're one of those guys who's squatting 4 plates, but your legs, You as a person are thinking, man, I wish my legs would grow bigger. Just understand that low bar squatting and hinging from the hips, very much like a powerlifter, may not be the best way to do it. What I would recommend is I'm going to be starting doing squats here soon, so just watch out for those. I'll kind of be diving into how I do those. But also, when you go and watch somebody like Tom Platz has like the best form on squats. If you look at some of his old videos, watch when he squats. His back doesn't really move. It may like tilt a little bit at the very end, but he's pretty much vertical, and he's looking like he's finding a point and he's sticking to it. So his back does not cave in. And yeah, it's going to be a humbling experience for some of you because you're going to realize that you can't use nowhere near the same amount of weight when you're using your glutes, hamstrings, and quads, right? But at the same time, if you were saying, man, I really wish I had more, I want to get more work in on the glutes and the hamstrings, then you need a low bar squat, and you need to get that time under tension too. Now, am I saying lift light? No. Let me make that clear. When I say lift light, I'm not saying you're going to be taking it easy and it's going to be a cruise and you get to just do 15, 20, 30 reps and it looks like cake. Not what I'm saying. You need to understand, if you're having a problem with this, that a working set is a working set regardless of the weight and the reps. So at the end of the set, if I took a camera and zoomed in where they couldn't see the weight, and if you were hitting 400 or 500 pounds, or if you were hitting 135 pounds, and the other one you were doing a triple, and then the 135 you were doing 30, if I just had just your body in the frame, they should not be able to tell a difference, and they should not be able to see what kind of weight you have. So what that means is your effort output is the same regardless of the weight at the end of a set. So whenever I'm watching someone do a lift on like YouTube, or if I'm trying to learn more, the weight is important for tracking for yourself, yes. But what I'm looking for is how far and how hard they're pushing themselves regardless of the weight. So what does that mean? So let me think here. Let me get my mind together. If I'm dumbbell pressing on incline 100-pound dumbbells for 8, or if I'm dumbbell pressing 35s for 30, or however many reps I get, the destination does not change. Where I'm going to does not change. So if you're having a hard time and you're not progressing in your lifts, really evaluate not the weight. While the weight is important and you need to have enough reps for muscle, for hypertrophy, right? You need to really, really dive in and evaluate your effort and your intensity. As long as your technique and form, sleep, nutrition, and hydration is all there, and you got no stress, all your outside factors in the gym are under control, and you're not making progression in the gym, then you need to evaluate effort and intensity. So I'm going to end it here. It's getting a little longer. I'm hoping that this may help somebody that's getting stuck in a rut, you could call it, because I see it all the time. I see guys that have been lifting year, 2, 3, 4 years, the same weight, the same reps, no change in muscle hypertrophy. If you have any of these happening altogether, you need to fix it. Because the last thing you want to do is be wasting your time in the gym and you're not getting anything out of it, right? Like, you need to do it for yourself. So that's why track what you're doing. Hold yourself accountable. And then ask yourself when you're doing the lift, and if you don't make the rep and you don't make the weight, whatever it is, how do I make progression? How do I push past this? Don't just sit there and let yourself just grind into the, a stopping point where you can't come out of it. I don't care how you do it. You need to make progression, because once you break that that ceiling, that ceiling's no longer there. Go back and look at some of my very first videos. Like, for example, shoulder press. When I first started shoulder pressing on this channel just a few months ago, I was shoulder pressing, I want to say it was either 75s or 80s, and now I'm shoulder pressing 95s. If you go back and look at this channel on the reverse machine squat, I've been stacking plates, whether it be a 2.5, a 5, a 10, however, or I'm getting another rep. I'm either adding reps or I'm adding weight, whether it be through rest pause, drop sets, supersets, negatives. I am getting in more capacity than what I had before, right? So this is where you're at. All you gotta do is just get to right here. That's all you need to think about. You're not trying to go from here to here and double it. Stop trying to do that. Stop trying to max out or something like that too. All you're trying to do is, you did this much last time. Now you just want to add this much. And then I want you to think about the compound effect. Every session you're doing this, some way, shape, form, or fashion, and before you know it, in a few weeks, few months, you've doubled. So, like I said, I'm gonna end it here. Get after it. More videos coming. We're not stopping. I'm not gonna get stuck in a sticking point. At the end of March, regardless of the weight, I've been kind of cutting for a while now. I'm gonna come back up at the end of March. 2 more weeks. If I lose 2 more pounds, 5 more pounds, whatever it is, I've decided at the end of March I'm gonna kind of cut it. I'm gonna let myself get a break on the cut. Slight carbonation. You know what I'm talking about? A little bit of a bulk, carbonated. We can go right back into it. We'll come back down again. Let's go. Endless potential. You got it. Out.